Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Glenn Lewis, and I'm tapping in with Erik Tee, and we're going to discuss what's been going on with me and what's happening in music right now and life in general. So stay tuned.
It's perfect timing, like seeing you smiling instead of being upset. Should've bet you forget, just getting timing. You feel it's different, or you wouldn't be here. He ain't text or call since we've been out. You said it all.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the Big Homie Erik Tee on the big station, Magic 102.5. And yep, you've been seeing it. I told you we were going to be talking with the legend. This guy right here, man, when it comes to R&B, like I truly feel like he's literally in his own bag. I was happy to hear that he had a new song that I heard a couple of weeks ago. And it's like when I got it, I immediately got on the phone like, look, we gotta get Glenn on the line, man, because it's been a little minute since you've heard his music on the radio, but that doesn't mean that he hadn't been putting music out there. But yeah, just want to welcome to the big show, man. Glenn Lewis, welcome to the show, man. How you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, brother Eric. You know what I'm saying? As you said, it's been a while, so
Yeah.
it's great to be able to just connect with you and stuff like that, and be able to take time out and talk about this music.
And the funny thing about it, I literally started my journey. I've been in radio for a while, but I started in Louisiana like around 2001. So it was like kind of toward the summer of 2001.
Okay.
And I was looking at your album. Literally, the world outside my window came out in 2002. And what was
Yeah.
funny about that, before I even knew who you were, I heard the song. I think we were playing The Touch at the time on the radio station that I was programming. And
Okay.
before they announced it, I thought it was Stevie Wonder. And I was like, but when they told us who you were, I was like, again, just like I am now, I had to find out a little bit more about you, man. I see that you're from Canada originally, right?
Yeah, yeah, from Toronto. I was born in a town outside of Toronto, but pretty much lived in Toronto the majority of my life.
Man, so like obviously, especially when I talked to somebody yesterday, and they reached out to me, a guy from Japan, and he was just, I didn't realize just how big of an influence that our mainstream music has when it comes to, artists in other countries, when it comes to Japan, when it comes to Canada. I mean, obviously we see Drake and the reign that he's been having over the past few years.
Yeah.
So who are some of your influences that kind of not really molded who Glenn Lewis is, but who are some people that you listened to growing up?
I mean, really, it varied. Because it there was you know how it is, like when as teens, and sort of like shaping our own identity and our own taste. Like, you have the music that like in your squad, just everybody's like, oh, this is what's hot. You have
Right.
that, you know what I'm saying? But then also I had the influence of music that my parents used to play around the house. And yeah, and just like I was I've always had like um a pretty broad sort of layout of just different artists that would inspire me in one way or another, whether it's as songwriters or singers or musicians. So in the gospel field, you know, amidst some of my friends, like, from John P. Key to Commission, the Clark sisters, um, and then, just like I mentioned, as teens, like coming up, just listening to like Intro and Mary J, from the Uptown side to the Bad Boy side to just at all points in between, Anita Baker and just all types of influences, and then like the more obvious ones, like with my parents' music, like Stevie was always played around the house, the
Yeah.
Gap Band, Donny Hathaway, etc.
Now, of course, like I said, with the album "World Outside My Window" came out in 2002.
Yeah,
Obviously, don't you forget it was the first single off that, which did wonders, I think, as far as radio. And a
yeah,
lot of folks don't realize that you were kind of in the Touch of Jazz family with
yeah,
Jill Scott, and of course you had Dre and Vidal who did a lot of production on the album and
yep,
things of that nature too. If you could talk to Glenn Lewis from 2002, it's 26 now. But
right,
if you
yeah.
could talk to Glenn Lewis from 2002, what is some advice or some tips that you would tell him to kind of be on the look for as far as how to maneuver into the mainstream world musically?
Um, Probably the first two things that come to mind is don't take yourself too seriously, be present in the moment, enjoy the journey, and just to remain confident in your overall creative decisions. Like, nothing happens by accident, and everything that's happening around me is happening because it's the journey I'm supposed to be on, and everything that's brought me to that point kind of confirms that it's meant for me kind of thing. Because
Yeah,
it's funny, yeah, because back then, um there was so, like, coming from Toronto into Philadelphia, and it's a whole whole new environment. Yeah, it was obviously the similarities, like just we as a people, but just the flow, just far as from a community standpoint, there were certain
yeah,
aspects that was different because I'm more or less coming from a West Indian, like a Caribbean Canadian background. So like having somewhat of like having a West Indian background with my mom's side of my family being Trini or Trinidadian, and my
okay.
father's side being Jamaican. Just our
Mm,
flow, just how we do just the most basic things. So there was a bit of a difference. There was a bit of an adjustment. But for the most part, like as people, we're all, sort of striving for the same things. There's sort of like common things that that sort of motivate us. You know what I'm saying? So, but just getting there, it was it was kind of like there was somewhat of a culture shock, even though I came up with the music and all
yeah.
that. It was somewhat of a culture shock. So I feel like that's one of the things I would kind of tell myself, like, know that you're meant to be there. You like, that's like, this is like, you earned it. Like, this is you. Like, you meant to be there.
So what do you think? Like, I mean, because when we look at that album came out in 2002, and then you had The Moment of Truth that came out in 2013,
Hmm.
that was another kind of a long period that
Yeah.
you didn't really have music on the mainstream. I'm sure you were still kind of working behind the scenes, but what's some things that you were kind of going through? And you don't have to divulge like anything too personal, but was there a thing that were going on, maybe music wise or just a business that kind of gave you a bad taste that you said, man, I'm just going to fall back for a minute?
Honestly, it was, really it just ended up being timing because I'd been in and out of different situations, but uh, you know, just a lot of changes in the game. Like there was a lot of like a lot of the labels and stuff. There was a lot of consolidating on all this other type stuff, and then even R&B kind of went through like a funny sort of phase.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a whole shift into EDM, and like and obviously hip hop, like with 50 and all these different artists that were just they were killing, and then just different different styles of music, trap, whatever else. R&B kind of seemed to take like a bit of a it kind of been placed on a back burner kind of thing. So it was, yeah, it just, I just been in and out of different situations and performing live, and I was recording here and there, and you know, um projects that just didn't get an opportunity to surface. But along the way, just sort of like, picking up experiences and just growing in my craft, and it all kind of served its own purpose, you know what I mean? So but yeah, that was pretty much it. I was just, for the most part, I was living, but it was just, just for one reason or another, it just usually just ended up being just timing.
And so, like I said, it's 2026 now. You got the new single out right now called Past Tense.
Yeah.
Um, what was your mind state as far as getting prepared for this new music and the new album? Like, did you listen to music that like popular music that's out right now, or are you kind of like one of the other artists that just kind of lock yourself in the studio and away from outside noise to kind of prepare for the new album mentally?
Um, Honestly, man, I just so like I said, I'd sort of been accumulating experiences along the way, and uh it's funny though. I kind of, if I had to be perfectly truthful, there was a period of time where it was actually difficult for me to watch award shows or listen to music because I'm like,
Wow.
man, I feel like I should be there.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I guess, sort of to like, I would almost like if I wasn't paying attention to it, it was sort of like delaying it. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get back to that, so, whatever. But every so often, something would jump out and grab me, and there were certain artists along the way that I really appreciated what they did, and I felt like I could relate. And it kind of gave me a little spark, a little inspiration. And then eventually, a few years ago, just with a lot of the shifts and changes in the game, And especially, things getting to a point where once I got comfortable with it, you can do more for yourself as an independent act.
Yeah.
It's more work, and there's freedom. It's definitely more work, but you know what I'm saying? But I was like, you know what? I feel like now's the time. So I just, I wanted to have fun. Like I always feel like, going back to the love, what originally motivated me to do music is once you put that, once that's a part of the ingredients of what you're putting together, and you serve that, I feel like people can feel that energy resonates through it. You know what I mean? So just, I just wanted to just love what I was doing and have fun with it and try and create stuff that I wasn't hearing that was out there, or things that I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, we're definitely excited about the new album. I do want to kind of revisit the Moment of Truth a little bit, man. I
Yeah.
was listening to it like last week, and I was like, man, I hate that it didn't get the love that it should have gotten. So I want to tell everybody, if you get a chance, go check out Moment of Truth
Yeah.
by Glenn Lewis. You're gonna love the album, and you actually did some production with the Underdogs on that album too, right? Did you have any production with the Underdogs, or was it all Trey and
Um,
Vidal?
well, actually, okay, so the moment of truth was actually I had actually returned to Philadelphia, and I ended up
Okay,
working with a lot of producers in that community. So I did get back together with Dre and Vidal, but I ended up working with a lot of young producers at the time that were up and coming. Um,
okay.
but yeah, the underdogs, that was actually a previous situation that I was in. I was signed to the underdogs back in '06 or '07. And
Ah, okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
and we did an album. And yeah, that's another one of those. Like every so often people are like, oh, because there was a record I did on there. Um uh so there's this young writer, James Fauntleroy. He part of a production company, 1500 or Nothing.
Oh
And so
yeah.
at the time, they were on the come up. Now they're obviously massive successes. But yeah, they pitched Storm to me. And
Mhm.
that was one of the records that I recorded as a part of being in that situation with the underdogs. To this day,
Okay.
people are like, "Yo, where can I get that ad, dog? You gotta put that on DPS somewhere. It's like you got to release it." So that's
Right.
something I still get people on me about the Storm record. But yeah, Moment of Truth. Yeah, that was when I first went back to Philadelphia and reconnected with Dre and Vidal again back in like 2010-ish.
Oh, really? I love it, man. Like I said, just the whole thing, even with the song you have, Melanie Fiona. I
Yeah.
think just the album in general is like just a closer is definitely one that I really was kind of I kept it on repeat, like just kind of rocking out too. But so tell us about the new album, man. Is it going to be dropping this year?
Yes. So the new album is scheduled for June. Probably looking at like I think like June 19th.
Okay.
And yeah, man, just kind of got back to basics, just that kind of like treated it sort of like a home cooked meal, man. I just wanted to get back to the good stuff and like I said, just have fun. And
Yeah.
past tense is definitely a reflection of what people can expect as far as the energy of the project. Um, yeah, a lot of great producers on there. Siege Monstrosity, who did the first single, past tense.
Okay.
Uh, another producer out of LA, Cobain Ivory, and
Mm.
some producers here at home. Is one kid, Cam, or we affectionately call him Tink, uh,
Okay.
and Soundsmith, and a few tracks from my close friend, as some people know, hip hop legend, Cardinal Official. He did a couple of tracks. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, man. So it was really an amazing process, to make the album, because like I mentioned earlier, doing the whole thing independently, just having that kind of freedom to be able to just stretch out and create something that was authentic and honest and directly from me, like is it, not. not overly produced where it's like trying to like sometimes, I've had experiences where people are gunning for like, oh, the formula for a hit. And to me, I'm just like, all the music I've ever loved, it genuinely sounded like the person was being true to themselves. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I was like, that's what it needs to be. And that's where I came from, or that's the position I came from in creating the project.
And so, like another thing too, I think from what I read, you're doing a bulk of the writing on this new album as far as yourself. I know you're working with some of the other producers, but you've kind of wrote most of the songs on this album.
Actually, to be honest, I wrote it from top to bottom. So
Okay.
yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's literally just me. So
So when you get with other producers, like, and again, I don't look at you as having an ego or being arrogant or anything like that, but when you're getting in the studio with younger producers or even other producers, especially since it's been a few years, how do you humble yourself and say, okay, I'm gonna let you guys take control as far as the production, or do you guys kind of work together? Is more of a Glenn's co-producing type of situation, or do they bring you stuff and you just say, hey, okay, I'll rock with this?
um I mean it's truly a collaborative spirit. Like it's an opportunity. Honestly, there's always opportunity for me to learn. Like I don't kid myself like I'm coming in. Like obviously I come in with whatever experience I have, but
Right.
I more so look at it as an opportunity to contribute to something because you just never know where you're gonna land. If
Yeah.
I like so if I'm working with somebody that's younger, you know, and whatever influences they bring, and they might come up with an idea where I'm like, oh man, I'm really feeling that. I would have never thought of that for myself.
Right.
So, to me, it's just that collaborative spirit. I like you give the situation, space to breathe. It's a gift to them. It's a gift to myself to just remain open to whatever the
Mhm.
flow is going to be.
Now, like I said, the new single out right now, we've got Glenn Lewis on the line. New single is called Past Tense. Make sure you guys run the stream up. Go back and check out the old albums as well. We've been missing your voice for a while, man. So what does it feel and what does it mean to you to be truly independent? Like you said, you're the ones writing the checks now and things of that
Right.
nature. So
Sure.
how does it feel to be a true independent artist?
Um, like, there's a freedom, and a different kind of confidence, wearing different hats. But at the same time, similarly to the creative process of working with others, and being humble and being open, I'm still learning, so and to be perfectly honest, that's it that aspect of it is exciting for me. It gives me an opportunity to be creative in areas that I had either somebody handling it or whatever. Um, Whereas now it's kind of like it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to like I mentioned a moment ago, being able to be creative.
Right.
There's some pressure to it, obviously it's because everything falls on my shoulders. Um, but in a way, I wouldn't have it any other way. I actually I can appreciate it because just holding myself accountable, and nobody's gonna want certain things more for myself than I am. So
Right.
you know what I mean. So in from that aspect, it's been a beautiful challenge. And the cool thing about it is too is I see this now as an opportunity in setting this up and structuring it, that hopefully I can create avenues to help others either within my community or other individuals that I believe in. So as I'm almost treating myself as not necessarily the guinea pig because I've learned a lot along the way from
Yeah.
working with really brilliant business people. Um, so I've been able to sort of, take things from my experiences with them and apply it to this situation. And as I've mentioned, sort of treat myself as the guinea pig to hopefully eventually maybe help some other artists.
I love it, man. Look, I just want to let you know, man, like just being in the game for 20 plus years, like you have, man, and the fact that you actually take the time to do interviews. I think a lot of people kind of forget that sometimes you kind of go back to the basics, not necessarily having everybody can't do a J. Cole and sell out the trunk, but, just having that connection, man, with people, the DJs and the consumers, people that truly love your music. So I think they're really in for a treat when they hear Past Tense really start blowing up like it's supposed to. And And the album, if you do drop it on the 19th, that'll be Juneteenth, which would be a perfect
Oh yeah, how did I even miss that? I'm tripping. Yeah, exactly.
so that'll be great too, man. But yeah, aside from music, I know that's kind of number one right now. But is there anything else that we can be looking out for Glenn? Are you going to be on tour anytime soon, or things of that nature?
All that's in the works right now. I've been really like locked in the studio, just putting the final touches on the project, and moving around here and there, doing interviews, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But but yeah, the more things come, definitely, people can stay up with me on my socials and stuff like that, from Glenn Lewis 365 on Insta or on TikTok. Um, and just on YouTube, Glenn Lewis official. And yeah, as things progress and as things keep moving, I'll definitely keep everybody posted and up to date on what's happening in my world. And until then, I'm trying to make sure that this album is right. I gotta, I really want to. I want to give, with all this going on in the world, man, I really want to give people something that just it gives them an opportunity to, like, it's still everything's still happening in real time, but just to give them something that just could re-energize them, or just take them through to the next thing, or just I just with all the craziness that's going on in the world, man, I really did feel and put the kind of energy behind this project, or putting into it right now, the energy of just like wanting people to feel like something personal, something empowering, something that, you know, like something with substance, So yeah, I'm really looking forward to putting this out here, and hoping that people receive it as such.
We will, man. Well, I tell you what, you definitely got support over here in Beaumont, Texas. We're definitely going to show you love for sure, man, and just keep it going. Can't wait to see you on stage pretty soon. And definitely congratulations on the new single. The new album is going to be out there. Don't go away this long anymore, man.
Nah, I ain't got no excuses now. Like the independent thing, it's like, dude, this is completely on you. You got nowhere to go. Come on, man.
I'll
What are we
tell you,
doing?
stay in the game, man. Because as you see, like the resurgence of R&B is the tours. They're killing it. New Edition's killing it right now. I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of artists that are really doing good because people just want to have that, like you said, that feel good music. Kind of reminds us back when our knees didn't hurt as much when we got up in the morning. Just
Right.
So man, we got Glenn Lewis live in the building. Definitely make sure you check out the new single Past Tense, new album dropping this summer. And again, Glenn, thank you very much for taking our time today.
Hey man, thank you, Eric, man. Thank you again. And can't wait to see you come through Beaumont at some point.
Yo, let's make it do what it do. We got great food over here, I promise you.
I believe it. I believe it.
Hey, y'all, it's the big station, Magic 102.5.
Everything is cool, then he ghosted you. Said he lost track